Dandavat Maharaj.
Yes. Surendra
Can
Prabhu
you see?
joining.
Can you see me?
Dandavat.
Okay, Prabhu, you get it?
Can you see me?
Yes.
Yes, Maharaj. Yes,
Oh,
Maharaj.
okay. Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Maharaj.
Dhanyavad.
Hare Krishna, Dhananjay Maharaj.
Haribo, Haribo, Hare.
Sorry, because Surendra Prabhu want to join.
Yes, you send the link.
Yeah, he's in the link
Nobody speaking.
because he's waiting. Someone want to let me join. Let him to join.
Oh, Krishna Keshav Prabhu, you have to allow Surendra Mohan Prabhu from the meet. He's waiting, I think.
Yes, yes, please. Okay, Prabhu, we will allow for you. Yes.
Maharaj, I've heard that Kusum Didi is not feeling well after taking some vaccine. Feeling a little sick.
Yes. Let's see. She's going through a lot of difficulty.
Yes, Maharaj.
Another devotee wants to join. Karna Priya.
Surendra Mohan also wants to join.
How are you there, Maharaj? In
Um,
the Sripad?
we are doing okay, Maharaj, by your blessings. We had our internet connection today. We got it. And
Oh, it was
it was very
This
poor.
also Surendra Mahaprabhu, Surendra Prabhu Maharaj from London.
Yes, Dandava Surendra Mohan Prabhu.
what was that?
Surendra Mohan Prabhu from London.
Surendra. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
His internet is slow, seems to. It was very easy, Maharaj, to get the internet connection because the service provider was just in front of the temple. I talked
Oh,
with him yesterday, and today morning everything is done.
why didn't the devotees do that before?
I'm not sure, Maharaj. Maybe they have to pay every month 600 or 700 rupees.
Oh, so much, huh?
Yes.
Prabhu.
Dandava Surendra Mohan Prabhu. Can you hear us? You are muted. You are muted. Mute. You have to unmute.
Karna Priya Didi, Haribo.
Dandavat. Anupriya.
Dandavat Pranam Maharaj, Dandavat everybody, nice to see everybody, Hare Krishna.
Hare
And
Krishna.
Dandavat.
They had a nice program today of Ekadasi preparation.
All the cooks are there.
With Krishna Nandini and myself, Maharaj.
No, I meant in the Srigapali, all the cooks
Yeah, they are
are
there,
still
Maharaj.
there.
They are there. They are there,
Okay.
and all devotees taking Ayurvedic tea now. Actually, two devotees were having fever and cough, very bad condition. So then They have taken this and they are feeling much better. And also they are doing nostril, putting some oil in the nose,
They what?
some mustard oil in the nose. Connection seems to be not so good, Maharaj, today.
Who?
Connection
Oh, connection not good?
seems to, I'm
You're
not
having a
sure.
problem? It
No, I
sounds
don't
good.
have. Okay.
Sounds good from here.
How are you, Surendra Mohan Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Maharaj, are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes, Kandabad.
Yes, Maharaj, yes, but I
Some,
can't see anybody. It's the problem with my computer.
the microphone has to be some problem.
Yeah, and the video, nothing is coming. I can see myself the program.
We can see your video.
Uh, yes, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Yes, I can at least hear you all. Yes. Dandavat.
How is your health? Siraj Prabhu, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, Maharaj. Thanks.
So how was the program at Kosham's house?
It was good. I mean, Dayal Chan and the other devotee, what's his name? Two of them, they came to the program, so we had a small reunion. Yeah.
A small gathering, but a lot of prasadam.
Yes, that's true.
Who prepared the prasadam?
Yeah. She cooked some prasadam for everybody.
How is her health? Is she well?
She's okay, but she had the second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, and she still have fever and some body aches. I think that like some Friday. I think that was Friday or Thursday. She had the vaccine, so it's like a side effect probably on the vaccine.
Is Mahayogi going to join us today? Kanapriya?
He said he was the other day. The link, I think Nikeshava sent him the link and the link on another chapter. So
Okay.
maybe I can message.
Mahajogi Maharaj called me when I was in Bangalore, and he was very happy that we are going to Navadvip.
Who called you?
Mahajogi Maharaj.
Oh, he called you. Okay.
When we were in Bangalore, and he was very happy that we are going to Navadvip, he said.
Yes, we found a very nice picture of you and Muni Maharaj and Mahayogi Maharaj all smiling very beautifully.
I think we are going to Ireland, that one.
Oh, is that what's it? Yes. I have not seen such a happy picture of all three. They look like they had a nice time there. Is that you? No, what is that one on the bottom? From India? Yeah. Okay. Okay.
There is a big storm is coming in Bengal on 25th, Maharaj.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Cyclone?
cyclone.
Cyclone.
So maybe it may create some little damage to the trees and buildings like that, roofs,
I heard
electricity supply.
there was one in the coming on the West Coast.
Has already finished. That is in
Finished.
Gujarat,
Right.
Mumbai, Kerala, damaged
Yes.
lot.
Now Calcutta's going to get something.
Yes, on 25th, Nrsimha Chaturdashi day.
India has enough problems.
You know about black fungus problem, Maharaj? You heard about
I
it?
heard of that, yes. I heard of it,
Very dangerous.
especially for people with diabetes.
Diabetes and COVID. Uncontrolled diabetes.
So you've been having your classes on the internet now?
Today I have started, Maharaj.
Okay. All right. 1:15.
You are feeling okay, Maharaj?
Yes, I'm okay. Still breathing, breathing.
You're looking like little tired today.
Yes, Maharaj, I am. Getting very hot here now.
Hot.
Yes.
Oh.
Getting 90-degree weather. 90 Fahrenheit.
Running the AC, Maharaj?
Not yet. We have the fan only going.
Oh.
But at night it gets a little cool. But during the day it's been very hot.
Some flowers already planted, Maharaj.
Yes. All the flowers are planted. We're just waiting for them to bloom. Still cold there in London, Canabria?
Little, yeah. Actually, this time last year it was really warm.
Yeah.
But still, it's cold. We've had lots of rain. And then sometimes the sun coming. Then also a few days really windy. So yes, not as warm as last year. Still big coats and
Oh,
scarves and things.
June 21st. Summer begins.
Yeah.
Summer solstice. June, another month.
One young child, the daughter of Gautam Prabhu from London, Ananga Manjari, she joined sometime our Sangha. Today she joined and she was telling that the lockdown is finished. They are going on Harinam Sankirtan in central London.
Yes, yes. Here also they've dropped the restrictions. So
Is Dayanidhi going? Kanupriya Didi and Damodar is where? Dayanidhi Prabhu and Damodar, are they going on Sankirtan?
Jainidhi is. Damodar isn't. I don't think he's there at the moment. But yeah, there's a few going. Lavanya, Pandita, Jainidhi, Nitai Chand, Aruna. I think they're going.
Mahajogi Maharaj not went?
No, he can't. His leg's still not very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard from him after a long time. He sent some messages and pictures to me.
Ah. Yes.
Yeah.
He is
Right.
taking care of his child. Babe, his name is Godadhar. There's a lot of affection for him, and he was telling me that he's going to send him to India. That we have to look after.
He has a child?
No, that is not his child. He is the child of Saraswati, younger child of Saraswati Didi. And he feels that Govinda Maharaj has some special words for him, some praise. So he feels that we must take care of him, and he has a lot of attachment for him. So he spent a lot of money also for his care because Govinda Maharaj told that he's very special soul. So he is very was taking care of him with a lot of care actually.
God. Are you staying with you?
Yes, Maharaj, he already went for rest.
Yes. Okay. Late there.
We had some kirtan today. Uh, Evening arti after our online program. We have evening arti. Then also we had some kirtan and some class here in Bengali.
Are there many people, devotees there, Maharaj?
No, no. Actually, what happened? Uh, Actually, they came to know the news about Maharaj, being infected by COVID. So whenever we are going out or coming, they are all running away and they're closing their doors.
Uh-huh.
So, like one baby was coming, and oh, they're very much scary. They're taking the baby and then closing the door. Actually, I was surprised to see that, as if like we are untouchable. And also, few people
Dandavat
started.
Maharaj.
Dandavat. You want to say, Prabhu? Krishna Kesa Prabhu, something?
Are the devotees still staying in Eka Chakra, or did everyone go different locations? What
Um,
happened after the festival?
Actually, Ekachakra, there was a problem. The cook left, the pujari left. So then another devotee has to be arranged. And then the cook was also, that lady was very sick. So another lady has to be, sent, servitor, for cooking. So Vishnu Maharaj went yesterday after he drive all the way from Ekachakra to Navadip. Then in the evening he again went, taking one devotee. Then he dropped her there, and tomorrow he has to come to Calcutta. Then came back today night. He was very much tired. I think although all devotees they came back to Calcutta. I mean Kamalendu and others, including Miriam Mara, they all in Calcutta now. They got Srila Dev's certificate, death certificate, which is not like the final one, but some copy of that. They will give the later on the original one. So they want to use it for trying to streamline, the bank account, things like that. They were going to try that.
They already start the construction of the Samadhi one year.
No,
I know the
no,
hut
no,
is
no.
there, but the other
That's all.
one, is
Just
that
a
not
hut.
gonna
No, no
happen?
construction,
While
no construction. Just a hut. Those uh, those things
it's
are
very nice
built
hut
by
actually.
Keshta Prabhu from Puri. He's a very nice servitor actually, and also very good soul. He's taking care of Puri temple from 1996. So he made this all, the soil and cement, everything, and he also cooked for all the festival. It's very nice, service he did.
Chai.
That is the same
Very
devotee
beautiful there.
who invited us to his place for preaching before we come to Bangalore after Gaur Purnima. Same devotee.
I don't know how many is coming. Zana coming? Zana? Okay. You want to chant Rasarashri? Would you like to
Yes, Maharaj.
kirtan? Do the kirtan?
Yeah, sure, Maharaj.
Thank you very much.
Rasras
Yeah,
Prabhu's
Well,
sound seems to be coming no delay today.
yeah, have a delay?
No
No,
delay, no delay today.
Ah, no delay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Sri Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda
Nityananda Sri Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhara
Shivasadi
Srivasadi
Gaur Bhakta
Gopta Vrinda.
Vrinda.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Raja Sri
Sri
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya Prabhu
Prabhu Nityananda
Nityananda Sri
Advaita
Advaita Gadadha
Gadadhar Shivasadi
Srivasadi Gaur
Gaur
Bhakta
Bhakta
Vrinda.
Vrinda.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Sri
Krishna
Krishna Chaitanya
Chaitanya Prabhu
Prabhu
Nityananda
Nityananda
Sri
Sri
Advaita
Advaita
Gadadhar
Gadadhar
Shivasadi
Srivasadi
Gaur
Gaura
Bhakta
Bhakta Vrinda.
Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama
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 Rama,
Rama
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Nitai Gaura Haribol, Haribol.
Nitai
Nitai Gaur
Gaur
Hari
Hari Bo,
Hari
Hari Bo,
Bol,
Hari Bo, Hari
Hari
Bo.
Nitai Gaura Haribol, Haribol.
Nitai
Nitai
Gaur
Gaur
Hari
Hari Bo,
Bol,
Haribo, Haribo, Haribo.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Gurudev.
Jaya
Jaya Jaya
Gurudev,
Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya
Jaya
Jaya Gurudev,
Gurudev,
Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo.
Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Acharya Dev Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Navadvip Dham, Krishna
Jai,
Gopali Da Ki Jai, Jai Mayapur Dham Ki Jai, Jai
Jai,
Dham Ki Jai, Jai Ekachakra Dham Ki Jai,
Jai,
Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai, Jai Jagannath
Jai,
Baladev Subhadra Ki Jai, Giri Govardhana Ki Jai, Yamunmaya Gangamai Ki Jai,
Jai,
Shri Sankirtan Ki Jai, Prabhupada
Jai,
Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasudeva Gaura, Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Bhakti Tulsi Devi Ki Jai,
Jai,
and Jai, all the devotees
Jai,
Ki Jai, all devotees Jai, all the devotees all over the
Jai,
world Ki Jai,
Jai.
Jai,
Jai Go Premanandi
Jai.
Hari Hari Hari
Evil.
Hari 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 Bo.
Jai Vishnu Pad Param
Bol.
Shivaja Vishnu Bhakti
Hare
Manga Puri
Krishna.
Maharaj
Jai
Ki
Shanta
Jai.
Maharaj,
Jai.
Vasaraj, Gana Priya, Uma
Jai,
Devi, Krishna Kesava, Ki Jai.
Jai.
So I was just thinking, we're chanting Hare Krishna here in New Jersey, and it's going all the way over there to the Singapali and Navadvip, where the kirtan first started, uh, and it spread all over the world. And now it's coming from all over the world back there. uh, Amazing, huh? How it's traveling all that way. How thousands, 10,000, how many miles between Jersey and Navadvip? Uh, maybe 13,000, 10,000. It's almost halfway around, no? 10,000 miles, I think, or more. Holy name, just traveling like that across the Atlantic Ocean to England, and then all the way across Europe to Navadvip. Ecstatic, evil.
Hari Bo.
All right.
Maharaj, you have taken tofu that day, Maharaj?
Tofu. And yes, Krishna Kesava made a special preparation for Acharya Maharaj. And I took some, honored some pieces of that. Everyone there ate some also. Tofu.
We have not prepared tofu and ekachakra are not available. We prepared soya nuggets.
Soybeans, yes. Soya nuts. We used to eat that when we were there.
And we had made ice creams, ordered ice cream.
Oh, he likes the ice cream too. I remember Govinda Maharaj, he bought the soya, what do they call them? The little soya beans or soya, those packets, little beans of soya.
Soya nuggets, they call it.
Nuggets, that's it. Soya nuggets. He got those soya nuggets for the Western devotees. Sridhara says, yes, you can give them the soya nugget. They need a lot of protein. So you want to make sure we got our protein, proper amount of protein from the West, because they're all meat eaters, I guess, previously. Anyhow,
Raw jackfruit also. Raw jackfruit also, Maharaj.
yes. That I don't know. That doesn't have much protein, but I think it has some fiber.
Yes.
Some fibers. So page 38, Vandana. Shanta Maharaj, you'd like to read?
Okay.
Follow you.
Vandeham Sri
Vandeham
Guru
Sri Guru
Srijuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha
Vaisnavam
Sri Rupam
Sagrajatam
Sagrajatam Sahagana
Sahagana
Raghunathamvitam
Bhagavatam
Tam Sajivam
Sajivam
Vitam Tam Sajivam
Advaitam
Sadvaitam
Advaitam
Savaditam
Advaitam
Parijana
Samvadvaitam
Sahitam
Janasahitam
Krishna
Krishna
Chaitanya
Chaitanya
Devam
Devam
Krishna Chaitanya
Sri
Sri
Radha
Radha
Krishna
Sri
Krishna
Pada
Pada
Radha
Sahagana
Krishna
Lalita
Sahaganalita
Shri
Pada
Vishakha
Sahaganalita
Vitascha
Shivishakam Vitam Cha
Om Jnanatimirandasya Dhananjana
Jnanatimirandasya
Salakaya
Dhananjana Salakaya
Chakshurunmilitam Jaina
Militam
Tasmai
Tasmai Shri
Shri
Gurave
Gurave
Tasmai Shri
Namaha
Gurave Namaha
Pujya Sri
Shri
Guru
Guru
Varga Vandita
Pujya Guru Bhargava
Mahabhava
Mahabhava
Jaya Sada
Bhavamvita
Purvarya
Jasada
Parampara
Parampara
Pacharita
Sarvaparya
Tatsacha
Parampara
Morta
Pacharita
Pramuditahe
Taya
Bhaktire
Pramudita
Nirmala
Nirmala
Nidhyasya
Nirvakshita
Nidhitam
Avitam
Samrita
Sarashitam
Sadaram
Nidhyasya
Sadaram
Nidritam
Bande Shri
Vande
Gurudev
Shri
Sadaram
Natasirat
Guru
Acharya
Shri
Shaya
Gurudevanamata
Varyam
Sira Charyavaryam Niyam
Gurvavishta Suparakam Gurugane
Bhagavista
Raja
Supratam
Shambhusitam
Guruneti Shambhusitam
Chinta Chinta Samasta Veda Nipunam Sirupa Pandanugam
Rupa
Govinda Vidam Ujjalam Bharatanam Bhaktanvitam Sundaram
Bharatanam Bhaktam Vitam
Vande
Sundaram
Vishwagurum Cha Divya Bhagavat Premna
Divya
Himavija
Bhagavat
Pradam
Prinohi Vichapradam
Devam Divyatanam Suchanda Vadanam
Devam
Balarko
Suchanda Vadanam
Chelanchitam
Balarka Prachalam Sitaram
Chandranandapuram Sadeka
Param
Varanam
Sadika
Nandapuram
Vairagya
Sadekaram
Vidam Buddhim
Sadekaparanam
Sri
Naya
Siddhanta
Vidya
Nidhim
Buddhim
Siddhanta
Suvakti
Nidhim
Lasitam
Sabhakti
Siddhanta Nidhi
Sarasata
Subhakti
Sarasatana
Lasitam
Nambaram
Saras
Vande
Vandetam
Namaram
Suvadam Madhika Saranam
Samaram
Vikasharam
Jnashisaram Sridharam
Sridharam Sridharam
Sri Siddhanta Saraswati Vidita
Siddhanta
Gauriya
Saraswati
Purvanaye
Vande
Hridayagram
Bhatu
Bhaje
Bharaniva
Bhattavara
Prabhada
Prabhata
Gagane
Bhatta
Yugora
Yogara
Bhatto
Sankirtane
Bhagavate Garane
Mayavadati Mangaladhara Gatanudrita Jivaniman Krishna Prema
Krishna Prema
Sudhamritahan
Mudritya
Sukham
Jivani
Prabhat
Prabhu
Prabhutam
Krishna
Bhaje
Prema Sadhikana Sukam Prabhu Tam Bhaje
Namo Gaurakisaraya
Namo
Krishna
Bhaktavantam
Gaurakisaraya
Murtaye
Bhaktavadu Tamurtaye
Gaurangi
Vande
Padmavrindayo
Rangi Padmavrinaya
Radharamanuja
Radha
Radharava
Devi
Nitevine
Vande Bhakti Vedam Sri Gaura
Vande
Sakti
Bhakti Vinodam
Swarupadam
Shigara Shakti
Bhakti
Swarupatam
Sasyakya Samadham
Bhakti Sasakya
Radharsa
Samadhyam
Sadhanidhim
Ratara
Gaura Bajasi Sasware Vaishnaver Bande Vigraham
Gauravrajastithir Sai
Jagannatha
Vaishnavandya
Purmadhye
Vigraham
Hemati Vrida
Jagannath
Vaishnavam
Pravande Trimati Vrida Vaishnavam
Manchakalpatarusya kripa sindhubhyeva cha
Sindhuvyeva
patitanam
cha
pavanebhyo
Patitanam
Vaishnavebhyo
Pavanebhyo
namo
Vaishnavebhyo
namaha
Namo Namaha
Panchatattvantam Krishnam Bhaktarupa
Krishna
Sarupakam
Bhakta Rupa
Bhaktavataram
Sarupakam
Bhaktasyam Namami
Bhaktavataram
Bhaktavantikam
Bhaktavam Namami Bhakta Chatikam
नमो
Namo
महावदन्नाय
Mahavadana
Mahavendranaya
कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते
Krishna
कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने
Krishna Krishna
गौरतिसे
Chaitanya
नमः
Namne Gaurati Namaha
Jayatam
संसुरतोर्पङ्गुर्मममन्दमतिर्गतिः मत्सरवस्य पादाम्बुजौ
Matsarvasya
राधा
Sarvasa Padambujau Ramadana Mohanavu
दिव्यद्वृन्दावरण्यकल्पद्रुमादो
Ranyakara
श्रीमद्रत्नकार
Simhasana
सिंहासनस्थौ
Radhanagara Simhasana
श्रीगन्धर्वकीलभूविन्ददेवौ
Srigandha
कृष्णवेदी सेव्यमानस्य
Krishnalivi Sevyamanusmarami
श्रीमन्रासरसारमूर्ति
Sriman
वंशीवरतटस्थित
Rasarasaram
कर्षणवेणुसनेः गोपीनाथ
Venu
श्रियस्तुना
Sune Gopi Gopinata Sriyastunaha
वृंदाये तुलसी दिव्याय प्रियाय केशव
Vrindavan
श्रीकेशव
Tuladevyai Priyai
कृष्णा भक्ति पदे देवी
Sarvasacha Krishna
सत्यवते
Bhakti
नमो नमः
Pradipti Satyavatyai Namo Namaha
अथो न स्वमन्त्रगुरून् गुरून् भागवतात् सदान्
Mantra Guru
व्यासान्
Bhagavad
जगद्गुरु दत्त्वा तरुत्राय धीरये
Tatoya Mudiraye
जय सपरिवार
Yata Sarika
श्री
Shri
गुरु
Shri
गौरांग
Guru
गंधर्वा
Gauranga
Sarika
गोविंद सुंदर
Govinda
पाद
Sundar
पंकजम
Govinda Sundar
जयस्तु
Sarpada Pranam
Shri
श्री
Krishna
कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद
Chaitanya
Gurananda
Prabhu
प्रियाद्वैत
Shri
Nityananda
Advaita
गदाधर
Shri
श्रीवासादि
Advaita
गौर
Gadadhara
भक्त
Bhakta
हरे
Krishna Hare
कृष्णा
Hare
Krishna
कृष्णा
Krishna,
Krishna
कृष्णा
Hare
हरे
Krishna
Krishna,
हरे
Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
हरे
Hare
राम
Hare,
राम राम
Rama
हरे
Rama
Rama,
हरे
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Jai Srila Prabhupada Srila Guru Maharaj Srila Gurudev Srila Acharya Deva Ki Jai
जय
Jai,
Jai Giri Govardhana Ki Jai
जय
Om
Jai.
Premanandi
हरि
Hari 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 Bol.
Hare Hare Hare.
जय श्री भक्ति माधव पुरी महाराज की जय
Jai.
Somebody, oh,
मोबाइल फोन got tilted.
it was, he's really in ecstasy, standing on his head. So I heard you told that Krishna got converted from Krishna consciousness to another consciousness.
I from enjoyer to servitor
Ah, how did that happen?
by the power of devotee,
Ah, which devotee?
Radharani. I heard Maharaj also Prahlad Maharaj converted Narsingadev. Actually,
He converted to Sringadev.
yes, Maharaj, because Narsingadev he appeared from the pillar, and then he has no father in that sense, means very passive kind of relationship with the pillar. But when Prahlad Maharaj was so much in the mood of love and affection, embracing him, then he felt also that I don't have this type of opportunity to have that type of relationship with father. Then after that, all the incarnation came with parents actually.
Okay,
In the
what?
Dasavatar came with parents, Maharaj parents.
Oh, huh.
And before that, in all incarnation, they are appearing all of a sudden. Actually, the fish incarnation, boar incarnation, and even the tortoise incarnation, all Maharaj.
Interesting. Very nice discovery.
I heard from devotees, Maharaj.
I heard for this one from the devotees.
Yes, Maharaj.
I think I told you once that I heard Prabhupada say that.
This one, Maharaj?
I heard Prabhupada say that uh, faith is not enough. He said you have to have scientific knowledge. Otherwise, he said, people are being converted from Christian to Muslim, uh, from Jewish to Muslim, and like this to Buddhist, and all different kinds of things. They have faith in one thing, and then they'll be converted into another. So unless you have scientific knowledge, what is the difference between these different religions? Then you can be converted easily. But Krishna got converted also. And despite it, he has the knower of everything. So how is that?
I think he has a scientific experience, Maharaj.
He had
He-
so much scientific knowledge, but still he got converted. Huh? The predominating Maya teacher, the predominated. He got converted by the predominated.
Maybe it's the difference between blind faith and scientific knowledge. Blind faith and scientific knowledge. And the highest point of scientific
Let's faith that. Let's see. No, not faith. That's something else. That is faith. That is love. Huh? Even scientific knowledge can be converted by love. Huh? Joy, happiness, ananda. The higher the happiness, thereafter, we're happiness seekers. Rasa Vaisaha. What is that? Reality, the beautiful. Conquers
Search for Sri Krishna, reality.
Conquers over all. Conquers over all knowledge, anything. Sridhara hold that the highest, that rasa. Hold that to be the highest thing. And what kind of knowledge can bring that rasa? What knowledge can compare with that rasa? We think we're after knowledge, even scientific knowledge. But it's really what is the highest? That sweetness, that ananda, that ecstasy. How could that rule even the scientific knowledge?
Maharaj, I have asked Srila Sripad Maharaj, actually, what is the meaning of scientific? And he told me that when we use the scriptural knowledge in our day-to-day life and get some practical realization, then it is scientific. He told. But if we keep the scriptures like that and we don't have any realization of those, then that is not scientific. He told me that.
Yeah.
So it seems to be what this thing, Maharaj, is beyond scripture also.
Of course. What is that verse Sridhara always quotes?
Which one, Maharaj?
And about going beyond Sharanagati. About the scriptures, rather. Going beyond the scriptures. That raga bhakti.
Actually, he says that Jasmin Jyate Sarva Vigyatam Bhavati. By knowing whom everything is known.
Yeah. No, there's another one. It says even going beyond the scriptural injunctions. That type of behavior. and are not restricted even by the scriptures. That is the highest,
Yes, and there is
highest
no
love. Gopis violated all the religious principles.
Tava Kathamritam, that one,
I
Maharaj.
don't remember the Sanskrit.
Tava Kathamritam, Tapta Jivanam, Kabiviritam, Kalmasapam, that one.
So,
Bhuri Ganantite, Bhuriga Jana.
uh, so there is something beyond knowledge, something beyond morality, something beyond finite, all finite consideration. That is the transcendental plane, beyond all finite uh, consideration or ability to even have any idea of achintya. All our ideas are finite. We're finite. All our ideas of things are finite. So anything of our finite that our finite ability can touch, that is transcendental, means beyond that. Our finite capacities have no access to those things of a higher nature, and yet they exist. Those things exist, and they are in complete domination and control of us, of the finite plane. We have no idea of those things. Can have no idea of that. So,
Achintya Maharaj.
yes, achintya. So inclusive, so powerful, that all other things are under their control. All other things are moving by the control of those things, and we think they are those things that are under our control or under our knowledge. We think they are doing everything, but in fact, they are all being moved by that higher plane. Hare Krishna. We can't think of it. Even we try to apply our highest and deepest thinking, still we cannot reach that. And then faith, only faith can come in touch with that. And that we are told that plane consists of some feeling, some rasa. There's feeling there, that also can touch it. What type of feeling is that? Another thing. Our feelings are finite, but the feeling of that plane is what? How is it possible that we feel existing there? What type of feeling is that?
It is coming from Radharani Maharaj's feeling.
Yes, she's in charge of that. Ladini Shakti. Pleasure potency. Giving pleasure. I was thinking that Guru Maharaj gave that book, Guru and His Grace.
Yes,
Grace.
Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj.
So I had not heard that before. We always hear about Guru in Vedic conception. But he gave the idea Guru and His Grace. Guru and His mercy. Grace or mercy, same thing. So what is that? We all know the teaching Guru is necessary to get to be God for transcendental knowledge. But that grace, what is the grace of Guru? What do you say? Anyone like to tell? What is that grace of Guru?
Maharaj, he gives the opportunity of getting the center to do some service.
I was telling that today to Krishna Kesava, and that we can get so much knowledge, intellectual, what do you want to say, satisfaction, of intellectual conception. But there's something more than that we have to get. That's mercy. We can't just go on the basis of knowledge, divvy God. Not enough. And that mercy is necessary. The grace of Guru. And other paths, knowledge and yoga, all these other things that people practice and achieve, that's only the outer portion, an external kind of thing. The thing that is missing in all of these systems that are not bhakti is that ananda ecstasy, that mercy, the grace. Kripa bindu, huh? Guru Kripa bindu. A drop of mercy. Yep.
That says, Maharaj, in that it says that Guru makes us more humble than the blade of grass
Yes.
by his mercy.
Yes. So that's something else. Something else in addition to the knowledge that we get going to Guru, we get something else. Now, how does that, has anyone felt that? Does anyone know what that is in their spiritual life? And what does that got to do with bhakti? And this is the thing that makes bhakti different from all other processes.
So, like more dedication. Do you get
Affection, dedication, yes. The inspiration that we get for dedication or affection, that intensity is there. And even somebody may be serving intensely. But I wonder, is that the same thing as getting the mercy? Sometimes one can be doing something for Gurudev, and has nothing to do with what Gurudev wants, what pleases him or her. It could become an annoyance. Oh, my Gurudev is thirsty. Let me bring some milk. No, I want water. I don't want water. Let me bring some tea. Let me bring some this. So intensely wanting to serve. But so that connection, that transcendental connection is needed. That can't be seen or described or anything. An inner connections. Hare Krishna. Can you imagine there's a whole plane of that kind of love, affection, sweetness, ecstasy? A whole plane made of that. A whole plane of existence made purely of ananda. But who has that, you see? We can't really get it by knowledge acquisition or service application. It has to be given to us from that higher plane, and there's a connection. We all have that within us, a reservoir of that ananda within us that has to connect with that infinite reservoir of ananda. And that's why the devotees are always praying. Please give me Gurudev, Kripa Bindu dear. A bindu, I just want a little drop of that. Of your Kripa. That's all we can do is pray for that. You can't do any way. There's absolutely no way we can achieve that by all of our efforts. Amazing, huh? You can't get that by any effort. I remember
Maharaj,
Srila,
whatever we can get by our thing, it seems to be some illusion is there.
uh, yes, I remember Srila used to tell I thought it was so harsh. He says, "You, all your crying, everything what you may do, it won't bring you a drop of that." I thought, "Oh my goodness, uh, even crying for that, begging for that, it may not come." Like that Chautauqua bird. What does he do when it doesn't rain? He may be so thirsty. He's crying for that, and all of a sudden, a lightning bolt comes. Uh, Even then, he doesn't get. He just gets shocked out of his wits. So, how much we are totally at the mercy of that. How much we are needing of that mercy. That only comes by that process. And that's where this idea comes from that we don't go to Krishna, the Department of Justice. If we go to the Department of Justice, and then we have done so many bad things, then we are bound to be punished. We deserve only punishment. We deserve only misery. We deserve only to be neglected in the solitary confinement. We deserve that. Then what can we expect if we go to the Justice Department? I'll be disappointed. So we have to go to the Mercy Department. I'm coming to this department here. The only place I can possibly have a chance, and even that is very remote. Because what have I done to get that? That's up to you and Krishna. So that mercy, that is what a devotee aspires for. All that he does, whatever service he is doing, that is the thing that is most important. That is the wealth. Guru Kripa. And all these other systems
Nityananda
like
Prabhu.
yoga and so forth and so on, that people have their guru. There's so many gurus, right? All these systems have a guru. But I don't know if any of them, some of them understand this Guru Kripa. Some of them understand that. But that Kripa and the Kripa we are talking about are very different things. Yes, Maharaja, sorry I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yes, Maharaj, I know, I got it, Maharaj. Just telling Maharaj, Nityananda Prabhu is the Department of Mercy, seems to me. Because he don't, generally, in general, he don't judge. Uttam Madhava na kore vichar. Which qualified, is not qualified, he is not, considering. But Mahaprabhu has some consideration.
But some lack of consideration also on the part of Mahaprabhu. He would go out in the streets chanting and giving everyone the holy name, everyone love of God, without discrimination.
Yes, Maharaj, before sannyas, Maharaj.
He took sannyas to do that.
Maharaj, I was also hearing Srila Acharya Maharaj many times told this, that I think Mahaprabhu went to Varanasi and then he wanted to give some mercy, but he not finding any proper candidate there. Then he was telling that I brought something to sell, but I'm not finding proper customer. Then what I can do? Even with less price, I am giving whoever I'm meeting. He said.
What did he say?
Mahaprabhu went to distribute something in Varanasi, Maharaj, but he not found any proper candidate. Then Mahaprabhu is saying, I got something to sell, but nobody is there, proper customer to buy. And what I can do? I am selling whatever little price I am getting. Still, I am selling to whoever I meet. I said like that.
Uh, give it for free?
Yes, yes, Maharaj. Without any means, when you have no customer, proper customer, then you still you want to give.
I I think Acharya Maharaj, he was trying very desperately to give Krishna consciousness and service and so many things to the devotees. I think this is one of his noticeable qualities. He was always trying to distribute that devotional service to everyone. And very difficult, we see how much difficulty he had to do that. An intense desire was there, but the public doesn't, they all had experience of this, the public doesn't want what we're giving them. Only a few here and there, few real devotees. But the others, they see they're very difficult to convince. That mercy. There's an ocean of mercy there, but they don't want it. Confusing. Frustrating. You're smiling, Maharaj. Why? You don't, it's not difficult for you?
Which one, Maharaj?
That we are trying to give these people the mercy of
Oh,
Mahaprabhu, but they're not taking.
Maharaj, it is like I was thinking also how you were giving this to a foolish person like me. So, by your chastisement, correction, I was thinking that.
So Muni Maharaj put another post about to Minos. Huh? You saw that? He wrote another message to
Yes,
Minos.
yes,
Minos,
Maharaj.
Minos,
Tapatak.
you know him? Minos
Yes.
is one of the scientists in our Sadhu-Sanga group, scientist group. And Muni Maharaj wrote some message to him in a very unscientific way. That's from the scripture. That this world is being run by the modes of material nature. And we are not doing anything. We are just watching. And our only hope is to connect with Krishna. Can the scientists accept it like that? We are not the body. The body is being run like a mechanism. And our only business is to remember Krishna. Now, will the scientists accept that? Is it a scientific argument? Yes, of course. Being analyzed very carefully. But what are the modes? How does the material nature work according to the modes? Can
Maharaj, the modes we can see in the form of anabolism, metabolism, catabolism, creation, maintenance, destruction. I mean, the effect, the scientist wants to see the effects of the modes, then that is there. I mean, that is the principle based on which this world is moving. The three modes.
but it seems the modes are taken out of the scientific picture completely. Because the modes mean what? In philosophy, you know what they are?
Modes are qualitative determinations as opposed to quantitative determinations like mass, matter, volume, velocity.
But what are they? What are the qualities? You say it's qualitative, but what is that qualities of?
The qualities of material nature.
What nature? Are they qualities of a tree? Are they qualities of the grass? What are they qualities of nature?
Of the conceptuality divorced from God.
Maharaj, the mode seems to be the agitation that happens when the Vishnu is glanced in the either in the harmony, like in quantum mechanics they say some kind of state of quantum that in harmony, everything in harmony, quantum vacuum or something like that they say. I don't know what they call it. So then it starts moving, something like that they are describing in quantum mechanics.
Well, you know what a mode is in philosophy.
Like in vibration, in science we call it vibration, Maharaj.
Yes,
Different.
mode.
The modes here are subjective. If you're talking about ignorance, passion, and goodness, they're subjective levels of conception or
Consciousness. Yes, that's
consciousness.
more attuned with what they mean, but do you know what they call the modes in philosophy? When a philosopher speaks of modes, what are they talking about? Do you know?
I don't know, Maharaj.
Modes of knowing, like there was two like different avenues of a certain. So like
They refer
modes of
to
consciousness
concepts.
between memory.
They refer to concepts. Philosophers talk about concepts, about thoughts, categories. So when philosophers say mode, they talk about three modes too. No, they also have three modes. One is called possibility, the other is called actuality, and the third is called necessity. These are the three ways that categories. These are the three areas that categories are described in. Either categories are possibilities, they refer to actualities, or they refer to necessity, things that are necessary. You can say these are three ways of existing. Those things that are possible, those things that are actual, and those things that are necessary. And they're related, right? If something exists, then the question comes: is it possible for it to exist? what is the possibility for this thing to have existence? That's why when we talk to the scientists, we say, you have a living cell here. It's very complicated, very intricate. It depends on this, it depends on that. Each thing depends on another. How is it possible that this thing could have come into existence? This is the question. The question generally, and I would think any intelligent person would ask, is it possible that this thing can exist? It exists, but then you say, what is the possibility of this thing existing? That question leads to, whether you think this thing could have happened by chance in so many years, or by plan, or what that means. See, it opens up a very important question once you ask, is it possible? Maybe they'd be there, but what is the possibility of this thing being there just simply on the basis of mechanical laws or whatever? So a cell is a very complex thing. Even the simplest cell is so complicated. And you think, now what is the possibility of this thing having formed by chance? That possibility question comes. So it seems there are some people who think whatever is, it's possible. If there's something that can exist, then it must be possible for it to exist. It must be possible. But they're called something like a theoretical possibility. Real possibility is then what is necessary for that thing to exist, to have come to exist. What are the necessary things that are there? If we see a molecule that requires other molecules for it to function, then we think, well, the possibility of this molecule having come into existence simply by chance is very slim, because all these other molecules must be there also. And they all had to be there simultaneously and working together. And if they each came by a stepwise process, then what is the how by chance can such a possibility produce a living cell? Now, devotees, I think most of them, not all of them, in fact, some disagree and think evolution is possible. But anyhow, that's just that question tells me what type of person that is that's holding a particular view. So devotee, I believe, in my understanding, think that if something is possible, then how is that possible without some higher intelligence, higher developmental process going on besides mechanistic or chance occurrence? Whereas materialists don't seem to have a problem with that question. Yes, everything is possible. Like they'll give an example of lottery. You have nine numbers or whatever in the lottery, 8 numbers. And they'll say, well, look, what is the possibility of these 8 numbers forming, being the correct numbers? 7, 4, 9, 1, 8, 6, 0, whatever. What is the possibility of choosing the right numbers? You say, well, it seems impossible. It's 1 out of 10 million or 1 out of 100 million. But because it's there is some possibility of it happening. Therefore, things can happen by chance. That's the argument. But an organism requiring so many things to come together in an orderly way, cooperative way, that becomes impossible to imagine. Not only that, but even if you give 50 billion years to form those things, not 50, but they give 15 billion years to form that, still we know that by combination, by combination of combinatorial mathematics, we know that the combination of different things over 15 billion years is not long enough to form even one DNA in a cell. Because there are billions of pieces of the DNA. And 15 billion years is not enough time in which to just combine the pieces randomly and produce that kind of thing. They know, they calculate it. What is the chance? Something like 10 to the 236 years. Something like that. I don't remember. There's billions and billions of years beyond imagination. And yet the materialists are not swayed by that type of knowledge. They still believe it. Because it's not based on knowledge, it's based on belief. And that belief is based on whatever mercy they have received, or what we call a sukriti. Not based on proper reasoning. But anyhow, people think like that, possibility. They see possibility in a very abstract sense, that anything is possible. But there are those who have a more realistic approach and understand possibility in what could actually be the case. So you have possibility and you have actuality, knowledge that's based on what is actual, and you have knowledge based on what is necessary. Necessary means laws, rational existence. These are the modes.
Maharaj.
One minute. These are the modes of that philosophy deals with. What's that?
So these modes are not different categories, but three connected.
They're connected, of course.
Processing what is possible, and then it's actual, and then what is necessary to make it possible.
The realization of what is possible, the actualization of what is possible, is called necessity. So all three are connected. You can't have one without the other. Necessity means that the possible can make the actual, or the process by which the possible becomes actual. Impossible and actual, these are two opposites, thesis and antithesis. The necessary is the synthesis. So now, in say in biology, you have what is that? Anabolism, catabolism, and metabolism. These three are necessary. Anabolism means breaking down. Anabolism means building up. Catabolism means breaking down. And metabolism is the process by which that goes on. And in the scripture, it talks about passion, ignorance, and goodness. Well, passion is needed to produce something. Then passion. Then what's the other? Ignorance. That's how to break it down.
Destruction.
And then goodness, how to maintain things, huh? So like that. But these modes of the material nature, what they call modes of material nature, are really mental.
Maharaj, can you repeat what? Ignorance.
Ignorance is the destruction, huh? Tearing down. Passion, building up. Ignorance, tearing down, and dissolution. And then goodness, maintenance. So these are the three modes are sort of like mental. Passion, ignorance, whatever our mentality. The type of mentality we have builds the kind of world that we see. Now there's no doubt of that. We know that what you are, it says in the scriptures, Jagate, what is that verse?
Atmaman manyate jagat.
What is that again?
Atmaman manyate jagat.
Amavan. Amavan manite jagat. Huh? Amavan means your mind. What you think, Jagate, the world appears. The world appears to according to your mentality. What state of mentality you are in. Passionate, ignorant, and goodness, you'll get a world that goes along with those things, those viewpoints, those modes. So it's more of a psychological explanation of the world. It doesn't detach the world as it appears from the apparatus which detects that appearance or determines that appearance. The world is not separate from the mind. It's very much connected with it, and dependent upon it. Not that we make the world, but whatever is there, reality there, is interpreted by us. And those who are Krishna conscious, able to come to that higher consciousness, they see the world, the whole everything will change. Your knowledge of the world, your understanding of things will determine what it is that the world is for you.
Maharaj, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Would you say that the mind is the point at where we have our vision, or the connected to our state of conception or vision of how we see things, or consciousness?
Well, by vision you mean see?
Yeah, like understanding.
Yeah. Now that's not the mind. The soul is there. Who's saying? Everything comes from the soul. We can't locate a place in the brain or anywhere else, or even the mind where this seeing occurs. But it's molded by that. It's influenced by that. The psychologists, they have an experiment where a stranger is put in a room, and the room is constructed in such a way that as you walk along the side of this room, a viewer
We lost them, Maharaj?
will see.
Yeah, I can't hear him anymore.
You can't hear either? Okay.
Yes, I think sound is cutting.
And can anyone hear?
Yes, well, now we can hear.
I can hear. Well, something happened. Anyhow, so as we're saying, they make this room in such a way that the ceiling and floor at a certain distance apart. Now, and as you go to the room, down the room, the ceiling and the floor changes, so that from a person looking, they don't see a room. But as the guy walking along the side of the room walks down there, it seems like he's into the room. At a bigger size, are you still there?
It's cutting a little, Maharaj.
I think
can hear.
Krishna Prabhu has to mute the other thing, so that echo can be stopped.
Okay. All right. Everything back to normal?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Maharaj.
So as you walk down the side of that room, it looks like the room is getting bigger in the back, so that the guy looks like he's smaller as you're going back. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because the ceiling and the floor are at a certain distance in the front of the room, and at a bigger distance in the back, as he's walking along the wall, it looks like he's getting smaller when it's actually the room that's changing its size.
Yeah.
Well, they found that when the stranger is in the room, they actually see the guy getting smaller. But when they put somebody that the person knows in the room, they see the room being distorted. They don't see the guy getting smaller. So the guy maintains the same size while the room changes its shape. They interpret it that way. If they know the person, they're familiar with his size, they can't accept that he would be changing sizes. Anyhow, something like that. So what's causing that? What causes that difference? It's just a matter of acquaintance.
Connection.
So it's mental, but at the same time, there is a guy, there is a room. Not that they create that, but they create their interpretation of that situation. The mind doesn't create the situation, it creates the interpretation of it. That's the basic idea. So it's not really in the mind, although the mind distorts what we see. Mind acts as a distortion mechanism, not as a creative mechanism.
Maharaj?
Mechanism. So with the eye, the vision comes from something more than just that mental interpretive system. What's that,
And
Maharaj?
I was asking how this.
1 minute. Maharaj, Kanapri, you had another question there.
Yeah, I was going to just say, is that then where mercy comes in to practice, in a sense, mercy, and to be able to have the proper vision, to be able to see correctly?
Well, see, why do we see? What is the purpose of our seeing? What's the purpose of anything? That comes at a deeper level. That comes at the level of ananda, of pleasure. What are we seeking? What is our heart's desire? At the most fundamental level, that will be the question. What the heck do we care about seeing or knowing or anything else? What's driving it all? There the mercy and the connection to the higher world comes. Everything is running on the basis of desire and satisfaction. The reservoir of pleasure. There's the background behind everything.
And that's the connection then, isn't it, I guess?
It comes from there, yes. Who can get to that, dive into that reservoir? That's where you want to go. Maharaj, what did you have to say?
Maharaj, I was thinking how that this what we are having different conception, that is different than those who see Krishna in Mathura, like the Kansa and his associates, they see Krishna differently, and the younger ladies, they see him differently, and the boys, young, they see him like friend, all those things. How that is different means than the modes.
Knowing the what?
How they are different than the modes. Modes are only found in the
Moats.
material world.
How are the relationships with Krishna different from the modes?
Yes, ma'am.
There's three things, huh? There's the Antaranga Shakti, Bahiranga Shakti, Tatastha Shakti. So these are three different ways by which the Jiva soul is either conditioned or unconditioned. And the Antaranga Shakti is said to be unconditioned. And the Tatastha position and Maharaja position, there's another type of conditioning. Once in the Antaranga position, there is a operation of the three modes, which does not occur in the Antaranga position. three modes don't act. There we find sat-cit-ananda acting. That requires understanding the difference between what is external and what is internal. We judge certain things to be external and certain things to be internal. That's when there's a difference between the external and internal. But in the higher position, the absolute position, there is no difference. So you see things differently. A whole different vision, a whole different mechanism is at work. If all your thoughts are in an externalized world, this is hitting that, and then it moves. But in the internal world, what happens? And things are not hitting one another like that. They're all connected internally.
In external seems to be we are not directly participating, but we are only having the experience as if we are participating.
Yes, that's also there. So, because you are seeing things entirely differently in an external mode than you are in an internal mode of thinking, and then certainly going to be governed by different factors. So what appears to be going on outside of you and what appears to be happening inside of you are going to be different. What's inside of you, going on inside of you, is all connected to you. You can see clearly what's going on outside of you, however, seems disconnected from you. Things that you are observing at a distance. It doesn't feel so personal. So there's a big change of consciousness going from external to internal. And then going from mental to spiritual, there's also a big difference there. Because mental also are things you observe. Spiritual are things you are.
What is observed and the observer, there is very, what you can say, inseparable connection there.
Difference, yes. When you think about things, you recognize that the observed and the observer are very intimately connected. One and different, actually. What the object that you know is connected with your knowing. An ordinary person will see a table as a wooden structure. A scientist will see it as a swarm of molecules. The table as a swarm of molecules. So the change in vision will be there based on their understanding. And the transcendentalist will see that what you know, the knower and the known are definitely related. The known is only what you know it to be. The phenomenologist, he sees the known as what you know it to be, and based upon your knowledge. And it can't be anything more than that. So an ordinary person will see it as wood, but the scientist will see it as molecules, and the transcendental will see it as what he knows it to be. So his own knowing is involved in it and constructing that object. Not that he creates the object, but that he knows it in a certain way, according to his knowing ability and the depth of his understanding of things.
Maharaj.
So, yes,
I'm feeling little tired, Maharaj, now.
yes,
So
okay. You want to go
is
to want to go to
yes,
sleep?
yes, my it's very hot here actually.
Okay.
So I'm a little tired. So
Well, we can
I'm
stop here if you want. Or we can go on and read. You can go to sleep, and we'll try to go on with Prapanna Jivanamrita if you like.
Dandavat Maharaj, Dandavat all devotees.
Rakshak.
Have sweet
Dhanavat,
dreams.
dhanavat,
Dandavats Maharaj.
dhanavat.
Thank you.
Dhanyavad Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat.
To all
Thank
the
you.
listeners.
Dandavat.
So, shall we read Prapanna Jivanamrita? I think I see we're on page 80.
Yes,
S, text 5.
yes, that's it.
I want to read Rasar's Prabhu.
Yes, Maharaj.
Thank you.
So the verse 5. Haridasa Harina Rakshita Eva. Mabair Mandamano Vichintya Bahudha Jamischiranjatana Naiva mi Pravavanti Papa Ripava Swami Nanu Srithara Alashyam Vyapaniya Bhakti Sulabham Tyajashwa Narayanam Lokasya Vyasanapa Danakaro Dasya Kim Na Shamaha. Sri Shekarashya. The servants of Lord Hari are always protected by Lord Hari. O wicked mind, fear not the thought of the multifarious perpetual tortures that are you due. Your enemies, your sins, have no claim over you, because the only actual Lord and Master is the Supreme Lord, Sridhara. Give up your apathy and absorb your thoughts in Lord Narayan, who is happily attainable by devotion. It is not he who destroyed the calamities of all planets, capable of annihilating the defects of his personal servitors? Sri Shekara.
What does that mean to you?
In some way, we have a lot of, as individual soul, we have a lot of limitations, and we have. He said that our enemies are our sins, our sinful activities, but he said Sri Kulashekara said that we have no actual power to control these sins or to eliminate this, and the only person who can do that is the Supreme Lord. So they said that instead of trying to fight those sins because they are overpowering us, is try to just put our faith in the Lord Narayan, and He will take care of that. That's what I understand. He's capable of eliminate all our sinful activities or all defects.
Give up all your apathy. Why did you say that?
Well, the apathy, I think, it should be in the at the time that we see our defects and our sins, and we are not able to control that. We get some like a desperate, or we see that it's like impossible to do that. And they say if we remove that negative situation, we try to put our faith and our thoughts in the Lord, He will be able to remove it for us. Because He said at the end, He said that it is not He who destroyed the calamities of our planets capable of annihilating the defects of His personal servitors. That means that actually all these defects will be eliminated by Him, but not by us, by our own effort. That's what I understand of this verse.
Your enemies means your sins. If that's the case, then that means you are the source of your own enemies. You're your own enemy. Right?
Yes.
So then what are you fighting?
Yeah, actually, we created this situation. We created by ourselves.
So then what is the cause of your apathy?
The apathy should be in if I try to control this by myself, I will not be able to do it.
If your enemies, if your karma, basically it's saying your karma. So if your karma is you created that, you recognize you are the source of that, and then you are apathetic. Oh, I can't overcome these things, and you're not seeing properly. You have created it. Your apathy has been created by you. Then what is the question of not being able to overcome it? It's your own creation, or our own creation. So if we did it, we're responsible for it, then we have already some ability to some power over it. Right? We understand it properly, or in this way, then we should be able to give up, to overcome whatever has been created. I don't need to be apathetic. And the thing is this, is that what we have created is not just merely our creation or the way of seeing it. It's that these things have been all coming about because of our forgetfulness of our devotional relationship with Krishna. So the problem is the problem is solved by understanding the cause of the problem, the real cause of the problem. First of all, us, and secondly, that what is it that we have done that created that problem to begin with, and that is forgetting Krishna. And therefore, the solution to all of these things is just to remember Krishna and devote ourselves to Him. That's what I see in that. Many ways of seeing that, I think.
Yes.
You know, page 80, text number 5. Umadevi, you have anything you'd like to say about that?
No, Maharaj.
Okay. Priya, did he?
No, that's nice. Um, it was just reminding me of the verse in the Gita, I think, and it's also a little bit of what you were talking about, the material nature. That when one is serving the Lord, then you go beyond those material elements. You're not bound by them anymore. So I was just thinking in that way, where it's saying, your enemies, this idea that we're caught up in this karmic law and this conception of materialism and in those different modes, that when we surrender to the Lord with devotion, that then we're not affected by those anymore. It was just reminding me of that. I don't know if that's right.
Yeah. Want to read the next one?
All right. Is this number 6? Samsara dukkha klistanam Sri Vishnu paramam padam evaikas rajaha bhava jaladi gatanam dvandva batahatanam sutta duhitri kalatra trana bararditanam vishama visaya toyemayatam aplavanam bhavati saranam eko Vishnu poto naranam. Srikula Shekarashya. The holy feet of Lord Vishnu are the only shelter for persons tormented by the miseries of material existence. For those persons who, bereft of a vessel, have fallen into the ocean of mundane existence, who are being lashed by the hurricane of duality based on mundane attraction and aversion, who are crushed by the burden of protecting wife and family, etc., who are drowning in the ghastly whirlpool of sensual pleasures, the only shelter is the lifeboat of the holy lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Sri Kula Shekhar. Like a similar to the prior one in some way.
I think it's also um, saying or pointing out how thinking that we're the controller is causing so much suffering, because it's saying here the burden of protecting wife, family, etc. So those people who are thinking that they are the protectors of their family and wife or any other things or people, and aren't realizing Krishna or Vishnu is the protector, then they're having material conception. So the only way to try to get away from that suffering of you know, the burden of protecting is by realizing that you were never the protector and that Vishnu is protector and taking mercy, taking shelter at his lotus feet.
I'd say also it's pointing out the disconnection, where it's saying bereft of a vessel, the one who's disconnected from that proper conception of the fact that we are dependent on the Lord.
Yeah. Bereft of a vessel, have fallen into the ocean of mundane existence.
Yeah.
So before we fell into mundane existence, we were on the vessel of dependency on the Lord.
Actually, what is explained here is like another transcendentalists. They try to, by themselves, they try to do some special effort to get out of this material existence, but only by themselves. But in this verse, what they say is like actually our position is not possible to do that. We are like in the middle of the ocean with no way to get out. And they say we only have to look for that lifeboat that is a Vishnu, but there is no way that we can do it by ourselves. So any attempt to get out is like a waste of time. It's no way that we can get out by ourselves. So it didn't mention that also the connection with the guru, no? But actually, the connection with guru will give us this shelter from Vishnu. It's not direct connection with Vishnu by ourselves. Actually, you have to be intermediary. That it doesn't say here, but that's the only way to get out. It had to be something external help, not anything from ourselves.
And I think also a part of, I guess, surrendering to the Lord's will is also accepting whatever negative things come our way. Like, I forget what the shloka is, but it's part of the Shikshastakam, and it says, whether you embrace me or reject me, I'm yours to do what you want with. And also in Bhagavad Gita, it's saying having equal vision in favorable and unfavorable circumstances. So I guess that comes along with not having self-centered concern, only having concern that the desire of creative, the desire of Vishnu is being served, and whatever condition that leaves us in is irrelevant to us.
I wanted to ask actually, because I heard can't remember where I've heard it, but is the lotus feet, is the feet of Vishnu considered guru?
Yes.
So
That's one level. That's one level of guru, considering guru. In the Bhagavatam, there's also another element here. The vessel is considered the scriptures, and the guru is considered the what do you call it? The captain of the ship. So not only getting on the ship, but also the ship has a captain and it's going in the proper direction. The wind is the words of the scripture. Yes, when you're in the ocean, the waves are always lashing at you. And the only way out of the ocean is if you're in a vessel. And that vessel has to be driven by a proper person who knows the way through the ocean. And the hurricane is considered the mind, this accepting and rejecting. Those who are on the mental plane, they're always being taught this way and that way and confused by so many things they're attached to or rejecting. So you never really get anywhere except by going back and forth. The only way out is to give up all that, get on the boat, and head home.
You make it sound easy, Maharaj.
That's the scripture.
It's a big ocean.
Just get in the boat.
Yeah, no, it's a funny thing. They say in the scripture it says when you're trying to cross the ocean of material existence, you get on the boat, and the ocean contracts to the amount of water found in the calf suffering. So it's just getting on the boat, and you're finished the whole journey.
They also say that in the scripture also say that like some people they try to get out of from that ocean holding the tail of a dog. Like a dog is swimming and he hold the tail say we're going out. But that dog is not even going out. so we have to look actually for an actual shelter, not for something that looks like it's a way to get out.
Now, this is a favorite metaphor of the scripture. Very good one, too. Because it's true, when you're in the ocean, what are you going to do, right? You have absolutely no hope unless somebody's out of it already can help you. Okay, I think maybe we'll stop. What is it, time?
3:11.
See? Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, my humble Dandavat, please stay healthy, safe. If you ever need to contact us, we're here.
Okay, Maharaj.
My Dandavats.
Dandavats,
Dandavats, Maharaj.
Maharaj,
Dandavats, everybody.
Maharaj, Nitai Gaur.
Dandavats.